Welcome to On the Spot, where we keep you up to date with the latest news, starting with the headlines. Abuna Mityas to be elected as the new patriarch of the Ethiopian Orthodox Christians in Libya, charged with proselytization. Extremism actions against Copts in many places in Egypt. Over 100 Egyptian Christians were arrested last Wednesday by the Libyan authorities under charges of proselytizing because they found a number of Christians' books and pictures in their house and workplaces. A YouTube video showed the group of Copts arrested in a room after their heads were shaved and their hands were burnt. Recently, Libyan authorities have made a number of arrests, including that of 4 foreigners under accusations of proselytization. It is against the law in Libya to proselytize and any faith other than Islam. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church has elected a new leader 6 months after the death of the previous patriarch. Abuna Mityas, 71 years old, is going to be enthroned in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa, today, Sunday, in the presence of a member of bishops who represents the Coptic Orthodox Church in Egypt.
Abuna Mityas, the new patriarch for the Ethiopian Tawhid Orthodox Church, was elected by 500 votes out of 806. Other church members of Kisses Wildgrima was ordained as a deacon in 1955. European calendar by Abuna Marcos, the Archbishop of Eritrea province at that time. Following that, he started serving in several capacities at the Kohi Monastery, Tenban, Auraja, Tigray region, where he stayed for most of the subsequent 14 years. In 1962, he was ordained as a monk. He served in the Holy Trinity Cathedral at Addis Ababa from 1971 to 1975, assuming various roles. He was ordained as the Episcopus in 1978, and he currently is the Archbishop of the Church Monastery in Jerusalem. He has lived abroad for more than 30 years. Will lead Ethiopia's 40 million Orthodox Christians, which represent more than half the population. His predecessor, Abuna Poulos, was chosen to lead the church in 1992 of Egypt's Coptic Orthodox Christian Church, but got its own patriarch in 1959. Abuna Mityas will be its 6th patriarch to lead it. Tens of thousands of people are expected to attend his enthronement.
It's presumed that after rescue crews failed to make contact with him, causes them to collapse and sinkholes to form on the surface. The sinkhole.
And it was lovely. Too full.
And from the Egyptian side, the Egyptian Foreign Ministry called the Libyan counterpart to discuss potential solutions for the detained Egyptian Copts in Libya. All the Libyan ministers expressed his frustration over the situation, describing it as unacceptable. He also clarified that concerned authorities have held a meeting forming a crisis committee and an investigate committee would be formed, and promised the Libyan authorities would pursue the issue with interest. And back to Egypt, as a continuation of extremism actions are still there. A number of Salafists rallied in front of a services building owned by St. Mark Church in the Diocese of Shubra al-Khima to protest a wall being built between the church and the building. His Grace, Bishop Marcus, told MCN Mid-East Christian News that the building was established for a long time, adding that they obtained the required license in this regard. He said that the church wanted to build a wall between the church and the building, while the local authority of the city asked them to demolish the wall and then obtain a license to rebuild it. And to southern Egypt, where a group of Muslim extremists were gathering in front of St. George Coptic Church at Komombo in Aswan Governorate over the disappearance of a Muslim woman. Rumors being circulated say the missing woman is being held inside the church. Cars of Copts in front of the church have been destroyed. A number of Christians rallied to protect the church, which led to clashes between the two sides. And concerning the political situation in Egypt, it is getting worse in Mansoura Governorate, north of Cairo, after continuous clashes between protesters and security forces. Also, the residence of the Liberal Civil Front was attacked and was burned by the security forces that arrested its entire members who were there. In Port Said, the civil disobedience is ongoing for the second week without any official reaction from the government side. till the situation was escalated from the demonstrators to announce mandating Egyptian Defense Minister Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to be President of the Republic of Port-Said. The demonstrators in Port-Said also began collecting signatures to allow Egyptian military rule in the country, excluding the Brotherhood from Port-Said and other governorates. Going to Christians in Iraq, Archbishop Mar Yohanna Boutros Moushi of Mosul for Syriac Catholics said that the reasons for the migration of Iraqi Christians include their exposure to harassment by many bodies, security instability, and a lack of job opportunities. He also said in their meetings with organizations and relevant agencies, they always call for providing employment opportunities for our youth. They also encourage investment projects by Christian businessmen from inside and outside Iraq and areas with a Christian majority to help Christians stay in their homeland. To the Roman Catholic Church that waits for the new Pope, as Pope Benedict has officially stepped down as the Roman Catholic Pope on February 28 to become Pope Emeritus. The papal conclave will have to convene in mid-March to elect the new spiritual leader of the world's largest Christian denomination. The new Pope will be chosen during the conclave, the secret selection by 115 cardinal electors who are continuing to make their way to Rome, with some likely to arrive only Monday or Tuesday. More details are in the following report.
When night was fallen Thursday over Vatican City, there was no Pope in residence. Pope Benedict XVI officially left his position Thursday, 28th of February, after nearly 8 tumultuous years at the head of the world's 1.2 billion Catholics, while the Catholic Church awaits the elections of his successor. The conclave will be conducted in the Vatican's Sistine Chapel under the magnificent Michelangelo Last Judgment ceiling. Among the current leading papabili, or the front-turners for the papacy, 2 are Italians and 1 is African. Cardinal Angelo Scola, 71 years old, he is the current Archbishop of Milan and former Patriarch of Venice, and he is the most prominent Italian candidate. Referred to as the Crown Prince of Catholicism by Catholic newspaper, Scola is known to be a conservative close to Pope Benedict, who he strongly defended during sex abuse allegations against the Church in 2010. Founder of Oasis, a magazine destined to Christians of all denominations in majority Muslim nations, Cardinal Scola has supported increasing ties with Muslim majority nations and increasing the Church's role in the Middle East. Despite all these qualifications, his relatively advanced age may stand against him. The second Italian candidate is Cardinal Tarcisio Bertone. He is both the administrator of the property and revenues of the Holy See. As the Vatican's Secretary of State, Bertone is also in charge of diplomatic and political affairs of the Vatican. This dual position has made Cardinal Bertone the second most powerful official in the Vatican beside Pope Benedict XVI. Bertone is known for supporting universal and free access drugs to combat HIV and opposing abortion on the grounds of protecting the dignity of women. The third candidate is Cardinal Peter Turkson of Ghana, the current president of Pontifical Council for Justice and Peace, and the second most powerful Catholic official in Africa. During the global financial debacle of 2007 and 2008, Cardinal Turkson strongly criticized the banks and proposed reforms to the international financial system to avoid the repetition of the crisis. As nearly 6 million of the 50 million new church members come from Africa, the election of Turkson would be an acknowledgement of growth of the church in Africa. If elected, Turkson would be the first black pope, but not the first African pope. 3 popes of supposed African origin, Saint Victor from 186 to 198, Samuel Tatus 311 to 314, and Saint Gelasius 492 to 496 came from North Africa, then a province of the Roman Empire. Regardless of who is elected, the new pope will have to deal with multiple serious issues, ranging from sexual abuse, scandals, the role of women in church, and the promotion of the traditional Latin liturgy. Tamer Abid, on Spot.
Marching